So we'll go ahead and get started. For those of you that may not know, my name is Cal Brink, and I'm the Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce here, and we also house the Economic Development Authority and the Convention Visitors Bureau. So we deal with everything from anything that's coming to town, anybody that comes to town, anybody that stays in town. And so obviously this is a really an exciting day for us and a big day for us in the fact that it really does just a phenomenal job of promoting tourism in Southwest Minnesota. And I can tell you from experience, Tom has been just a huge supporter for us in all of our efforts, whether it be hunting and all of the other tourism things. And today is just another example, really, of exploiting the fact that there's a lot to do in Southwest Minnesota. And, you know, we're fortunate to have people that believe in us. And Tom has included me in various committees with the governor himself. And that's just been a good, tremendous opportunity for us to get some exposure for Marshall and the surrounding area. And there's just a lot. This is a great place to have this event, just in the fact that it also showcases some of the newest things that we're going to become known for. We're already really a healthcare hub. We're a manufacturing hub, an industrial hub, an educational hub, and we're really quickly becoming a sports hub where we've done a great job with sports tourism in the past. This new facility will just really entice what we've done in the past and make it even better. So thanks for the opportunity to come here and also to help us showcase what we have to do here in Marshall and Southwest Minnesota. We ordered up 3 really nice days for you. Wanted to have a little bit of wind at your face at least 1 or 2 days, and then this is typically the wind that we have in Marshall, like today. And this is, of course, this is Chamber of Commerce Day. You all know what that is. So we've got a few people that want to say a few comments, but before I go, I just want to say really a sincere thank you to Tom for the support you have for Southwest Minnesota, our tourism, and everything you've done for our area. So if we could, I'd like to have Rick Anderson come up, and we'll start with Rick.
Thanks, Cal. My name is Rick Anderson. I'm a Lyon County Commissioner. I was also the Parks Director for Lyon County for 31 years. So Parks and Trails have always been at my heart. So welcome to Lyon County and to Southwest Minnesota. As you've done your biking, I think you've seen the gems that we have in Southwest Minnesota and realize that we can create some of the best adventures, not just as the North Shore does, but tourism is an important thing for us. We know that we can't build everything that we need to, and with the chance that I've had to sit on the Legacy Committee as well as the Legacy Advisory Committee and the Greater Minnesota Parks and Trails Commission, working with Erica, we realize people in the state don't care who owns the property. They just want to know where to go and what they can do. And I think we're working toward that. Everybody in the state will have these opportunities, as you've seen today, that we can provide out here. So we think that this is just the start of many great things that are going to happen in Southwest Minnesota as well as all over the state. So thank you for coming out.
Thanks, Rick. Now if we could have Mayor Bob Burns. Surprised you can still bend over after 7 straight days of biking.
Yeah. Thank you, Cal. And again, a special thank you to Commissioner Tom. What a commitment for him to take 3 days out of his schedule to visit Southwest Minnesota and really shows his knowledge, his interest, his commitment in outdoor recreation. I want to introduce a couple people that are here. First off, Councilmember David Sturrock. David wasn't able to ride today. He wanted to, but our city administrator, Ben Martig, and Lyon County engineer, Aaron Van Moore. Especially the last 2 I introduced, Ben and Aaron were instrumental in working with the DNR and the city of Lynn in the trail that we just came down on from Camden State Park, thanks to that cooperation, that collaboration, as well as the funding from the Legacy, nearly $3 million that came from the Legacy grant to fund that. And I think you saw the potential there and what that asset would be. And also the importance of really connecting people with the really beautiful regional assets that we have, that being our state parks, Marshall, the people in Marshall, to Camden State Park. And that's really what this week was about, is really showcasing how do we connect all of the amenities that we have in Southwest Minnesota, from Blue Mountain State Park to Split Rock State Park to Pipestone National Monument, Chetek, and then everything, Camden, and then everything in between. So it was a great 3 days and really a great opportunity to experience that, and thanks to the commissioner for sponsoring that. So I want to now introduce Darren Ram. Some of you on the ride encountered Darren. Some of you didn't because he was in the wrong place. But so with that, thank you, Darren. Oh, you want to say something?
Yeah. Let me quit going off the script. I'm on. I got this. For those that didn't know, Bob also just finished up 5 days of MS tram ride. How many miles is that? 300, and then immediately went down and did this 3-day thing. So you talk about Tom's commitment. Thanks for your commitment too, because I know that's a lot of riding. And then I wanted to make sure I said a few things about Darren first, who seriously spent the better part of the day making. We got a brand new drone, which he convinced me to spend $3,000 for. So he spent basically all day making sure we got great footage, and we got zero is what we got. We got none. He practiced so much waiting for him that all 4 batteries were dead by the time the bikes got there. And turns out he was in the wrong place anyway, so the bikes never did get there. So we got no footage. But it's a great idea, and he's really has been training all weekend. It's going to be a great piece for us for also kind of exploiting tourism and stuff with some new footage from above. So anyway, with that, Darren Rahm, our CVB director.
One would argue I was in the right place at the right time, but maybe the bike tour went around me. So we'll have to figure out what trail they took or what path they took to get here. But thanks to Tom for coming out, and Scott for helping getting this all set up and corresponding with us and making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So I appreciate the help on that, because we alone couldn't have put this all together. So thank you for that. I'm sure as you guys have seen all the natural assets that we have coming through Southwest Minnesota, and we really try to focus on that when we talk about things to do for people when they come out in this area. And people have certain expectations of what they want to do when they come out to this part of the state, and they're not looking to go to a Vikings game. They're not looking to go to a Twins game. They're looking for the natural assets and kind of get down to what we have to offer. So just a couple stats that I have here on economic impact for tourism. $13 billion in gross sales in the state of Minnesota each year for tourism. That's more than $35 million a day. Travelers' expenditures by season, 37% of what people spend come during the summer months. So you guys are out here and you guys got to see all that. Traveling spending by sector, 23% food, 16% recreation. So you think about bike rides and bike tours and stuff like that. There is tourism with that, and people do spend money, and it can be quite an asset for our community. And all the people that have put that work into building that trail out have really helped make that impact big here for Southwest Minnesota. I do have a certificate that I'd like to present Tom, and it is a certificate of honorary membership. This is to certify that Commissioner Tom Landwehr is granted honorary membership of the Southwest Minnesota Tourism Board. This is issued on the 31st day of July, 2015.
Scott, come get a picture. Quit tweeting, come get a picture. I'm tweeting. All right, got it. Thank you, guys.
I'll turn it over to you, Tom.
Well, thank you, Darren, and thanks to everybody. There's too many people here to thank right now, but I want to make an observation that more and more frequently, it seems like in the sort of national publications, you hear about what a great place Minnesota is to live. And I'm sure when they're thinking about that, they're not thinking about 30 degrees below. They're not thinking about potholes. They're not thinking about all the mosquitoes that we deal with year in and year out. But they're thinking about the quality of life we have, and that always factors in any gauge of why people want to live in Minnesota. And so it's really exceptional when we can highlight some of that quality of life. And I personally believe that quality of life is complemented a lot by our natural resources and by the recreational opportunities we provide. And I've known Cal and the folks in Marshall for a long time, because Marshall does it right. You know, we were here for the Governor's Pheasant Opener. We had the Governor's Pheasant Summit here. Marshall regularly has a ad in outdoor publications in the fall highlighting the hunting opportunities here and recognizing the value that that brings when pheasant hunters come to the area and they stay in hotels and they eat in the restaurants. And so Marshall recognizes the values of those natural resources, and I've always very much appreciated that, and I'm glad to be able to participate with folks on that. Cal, as you may know, also participates in a group called Hunting Works for Minnesota. It's a group of businesses primarily that recognizes the economic value and how hunting and certainly fishing as well can bring economic value to communities. And you know, we've always had, at least for a long time, we've had a governor's fishing opener. We've had a governor's pheasant opener since Governor Dayton came on. And we've had a governor's deer opener. And those are great. They highlight some really outstanding hunting and fishing opportunities. But when you look at outdoor recreation and perhaps the outdoor recreation of the future, we have not traditionally done really nice celebrations around some of the alternative types of things like canoeing or kayaking or mountain biking or road biking. And so it seemed like there was an opportunity there to do something different. And so we deliberated a little bit around, you know, how could we do something associated with biking and where would be a good place to do it. We decided that Southwest Minnesota would be the right place. We can highlight prairies. You know, for those of you who know something about nature, prairies are a very endangered ecosystem and they're very important. They're part of our natural heritage. And so by coming out here and biking through the prairies, spending time in the prairies on a national or a monument or on the state parks, really show some of the beauty of those prairies. We can highlight the trails and the parks and the links that they have to the communities and the way that they really provide value to the area and the quality of life. And third, we can highlight biking, which is, you know, just an exceptional outdoor recreational activity, and it allows us to spend time in communities, not with our windows shut, 60 miles an hour, the air conditioning and the radio on, but really in a way that allows us to mingle with the community and spend time getting to know it. And I think that's been one of the, you know, that highlights, I think, one of the real joys we've seen on this trip. The communities have just embraced this group. Every time we've come into a community, whether it's Laverne or Pipestone or Slayton or one of the Friends groups, you know, the communities are just so excited because they're so passionate about those parks and about those trails and about natural resources. They're just delighted to have some focus shown on those assets. And so it's been just a joy, and we're humbled by the graciousness of people and reaching out to us and providing us that hospitality. So it really is a great opportunity to do the Commissioner's maybe annual Prairie Pedal Tour, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come here, your corner of the world. Really appreciate all of the collaboration and the partnership that we've gotten from the communities, and I just want to thank you profoundly for that hospitality and that welcome. I'm not done yet. But I also want to acknowledge that this is a huge undertaking. This is, you know, the easiest part of this is getting on a bike and pedaling for 150 miles. Or how far is it? 300 miles? Yeah, all uphill, all against the wind. Huge amount of effort, and certainly a great portion of that was from the communities and the Friends groups and so on. But we have a great staff that helped put this together, and I can't tell you, I can't imagine how much time they have spent over the last 6 months trying to deal with this Commissioner's folly idea of putting on a 3-day bike tour, and I just want to extend a great deal of appreciation to them as well. And I want to acknowledge that some of them biked, but we also had some plain old folk come along with us. So Paul and Gary and who else came along? We got still here. We lost some people. Well, he works for me, so he had to be here. Yeah. So Kurt. Lieutenant Governor was here for the first half of the day, so just some plain old folks, and, you know, really hoping to see that, and just delighted that we actually did, because this isn't just about the DNR going around to your communities. It's about people getting into your communities, coming back, spending money, having fun, and really showing what the good life is in Minnesota. So thank you to everybody for making this possible. Thank you again to Marshall for showing us how to do it right. And I'm not going to promise, but maybe there'll be a second Commissioner's Bike Tour.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tom. 2 different times you said maybe. Yeah.
I'm the commitment phobic, so.
So we'll wrap this up here just with a couple more thank yous. I want to make sure the Independent, who covers all these types of things and gives us great coverage and helps us get the word out, as well as Brad with Marshall Radio. Thanks for what you do and all of the different things that not only promote tourism, but just promote Marshall as a great place to be. So that's always very much appreciated, and I know how much work that takes on some of your parts. So thanks for that, and thanks everybody for coming out today, and enjoy the great weekend. It's going to be another beautiful weekend. We're fortunate here too. We have just a phenomenal bike shop that supports this type of tourism especially, and will really benefit from the bike trail. And the bike trail actually will be a great way to get me into biking, because as Bob tells me, if you start in Camden all the way to my driveway, you never have to pedal. So I'm just going to have my wife take me in the pickup to Camden every night, and then I'm going to bike home. So that's a good way for me to get into it too, and the only way I'll get into it, by the way. So once again, thank you so much for coming out. Enjoy the weekend in beautiful Southwest Minnesota if you're from here. Otherwise, have a great weekend wherever you're going to end up.
All right. Well, welcome to Marshall.
Well, thank you, Audra.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Particularly when it's the end of a 150-mile bike trip. It's
Yeah.
good to see.
Are you sore?
I'm not sore, no.
No? You're doing well?
I was really hot and sweaty when I got here, but I've cooled down. Now I'm just hot.
It is pretty hot standing out here. I have jeans on, so
Oh,
it's
yes.
it's getting a little hot.
Yep.
So what did you think of the trail or the bike ride?
The bike ride was great. Going through southern Minnesota, the Prairie, seeing the farmland, going into the four state parks, seeing Camden State Park. But I really appreciated the trail from Camden to Marshall, because I know how hard Lyon County's worked on that, the city of Marshall, the city of Lynn, the Department of Natural Resource, to mutually bring resources together to make that trail a reality, because it's so important to both Marshall and the campers, the users of the state park, to be able to get from Marshall out to Camden State Park and back and forth. And we're standing in the parking lot of the high school right next to the new athletic complex with the new athletic fields, and I just can't help but think when you have throngs of young people here, young athletes, that some of them are going to be getting on those bicycles, going to Camden, back and forth between games, maybe camping at Camden, and then coming here for their games. So it's just a really good fit.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great opportunity for bicyclists and athletes to come here. Now, I know that you had a part in helping fund this sports center. What are you thinking right now as you see it coming together?
I think it's absolutely tremendous
Yeah.
to know that it's a place for young people to come and pursue their athletic pursuits, but it's also a reason why families will come to Marshall and look at it and say, this is a great place to work. We've got a great school system. We have good physical fitness facilities for their children to grow up in and use. So it's recreation. It's also an advantage for people to come move here and work. And it's also physical fitness and a healthy living, because we want to have people live a healthy lifestyle. Eat healthy, not be sedentary, get out and work, get out and play, and do outdoor recreation, and make that all just part of your goal to be physically fit and to be healthy.
Well, we really do thank you for all that you've done to help here and for you to come down and do this bike ride. So
it's been a real pleasure, Audra.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to seeing it develop further.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. All right, Mayor, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. How was the bike ride?
It was great.
And you did the whole thing?
I did the whole thing, 150 miles, 3 days.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was coming from Camden down to Marshall on the new trail.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful trail. It's downhill most of the way. It's really a nice way.
How's that trail coming along?
It's complete with the exception of 2.5 miles along Affinity Hills between River Road and City of Lynn. That is the last section to be completed, and that hopefully will get done either late this fall or next spring.
That's really exciting.
It will be.
Yeah.
That'll be a great way for people to get to campus.
Yeah. So what do you think about the new sports center over here?
The new sports center obviously is really coming along nicely. It's on schedule. It's on budget. We're looking forward to next spring, early summer, that there's going to be ice in there. People will be using it.
That's great. Wonderful. Well, I think that's all I have for you today. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Well, just a couple of things about the trail. We'd love to hear from you about your bike ride and what you did. What were some of your favorite spots?
Well, we started in Laverne 3 days ago and finished in Marshall here. And, just a couple of observations. The communities that we've been in, including and especially Marshall, really embrace the trail system, really embrace the idea of getting out there and really embrace the sort of natural environment, getting people outdoors. It's such an important part of the quality of life. So it's just been very, very fun to see that. And it's really rewarding as well to see how communities are investing in the trails and getting people onto those trails and off the streets. And it's just a joy to come into town on the trail system.
So you think there'll be another bike ride?
Well, I'm not going to make any rash decisions at this point. It's good to go back, let the pain subside, let the Advil kick in, and then decide when a person is a little more rational.
Great, wonderful. Well, we are really glad that you're here in Marshall and that you decided to have this great idea to have a bike ride around Southwest Minnesota, and we really hope that you'll come back.
Well, and I hope a lot of your viewers see this and get on a bike and get out there and experience themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.